I've already been told what I did was stupid, and I could have handled it better. I just want to know if I should apologize to my mom. So my mom decided she wanted to take me, 18 female, and my siblings, young teens, male and female, to the Renaissance Festival. I said I was working that day and couldn't go unless I found someone to cover my shift. She thought I wasn't trying very hard to find someone because I didn't feel like going. That's not true. I wanted to go to Ren Fest with them, but couldn't because of work. No one could take my shift, and I texted my mom that I couldn't go. She got me a ticket anyways. I refused to skip work, and she grounded me for not using the ticket she had bought me. She said it was my fault she got the ticket because I said I wanted to go to Ren Fest. Even if I paid her back, we still wasted money on it. At the time, I didn't say anything because my siblings were there, but it bothered me she was trying to ground me. The following afternoon, I wanted to make a quick run to the gas station so I wouldn't have to stop for gas in the morning when I was rushing to get my siblings to school on time. Also, we were out of bread, so I decided to get some on the way back. I was in my room getting ready to leave, and Mom stopped me because I was grounded. I told her I was too old to be grounded, and I could go where I wanted as long as I wasn't coming home late. She argued she could still ground me, and I wasn't allowed out of the house. She stood in the doorway and blocked me from leaving my room. This turned into a big argument, and unfortunately, my siblings heard. She took away my keys, driver's license, ID, phone, credit cards, cash, and laptop. I just needed to get out of the house, and I left. We live in a rural area with no sidewalks. I wasn't really sure where I was going and got lost. Luckily, a friend saw me and let me crash on her couch. I went to my classes as usual and got a ride home. I was locked out. When my mom got home, she was angry she had to take my siblings to school. It made her very late to work, and she missed something important. She gave me my stuff back and let me get a tank of gas. My aunt called me childish for running away, just because I was grounded. My mom was worried sick when I didn't come home. I didn't go where I said I was going. I was gone longer than I said I'd be. Mom had no idea where I was for 24 hours because I couldn't answer the phone she had taken away from me. Am I the idiot for telling my mom I'm too old for her to ground me? Do I need her permission to leave the house? Not the idiot. And you're an adult displaying a sense of responsibility by prioritizing your work responsibilities. The unfortunate thing is that as long as you live in our house, you have to abide by your mom's unreasonable rules. The only way to break the cycle is to move out as soon as you can afford it. I can afford to move out right now. My mom thinks getting my own place is a waste of money when I can live at home. I'm saving a lot of money by living here. I want to stay until my brother and sister can drive. Also, my mom doesn't think I need a job because she can afford to buy me stuff, and she thinks I should focus on school. It's not the first time she said it's not a big deal if I miss work or if I'm late. Wow, welcome to controlling parents. Your mom is trying to control you, so she doesn't want you to have a job, apartment, or anything of your own. She wants to control you and own you, and she'll always have it unless you move out. You need to leave. She took your ID, money, and means of communication. This is wildly not okay. It's controlling and abusive. She absolutely cannot take your identification. That's illegal. Girl, get your important documents to a safe place. Get her name off of any of your bank info. She will lose it when you leave because you're her free babysitter and substitute parent for her other kids. I 100% agree. Listen, OP, you told her you would go to the Ren Fair if you could get out of work. You couldn't get out of work, yet she grounded you because she bought a ticket for you when she knew that wasn't a sure thing that you could go. Yet somehow this is your fault? Then she won't let you leave the house to get gas and bread for the house. Then she's angry you made her take her own children to school. She actually stood in front of your doorway and blocked you. Also, is she really complaining about you not answering your phone when she took your phone? She's awful, and this is not okay parenting on any level. Move out. She's lying. She's trying to keep you mentally a child so she can use you to raise your siblings. A couple of months ago, I, 27 female, moved into a new apartment with my boyfriend, 28. We're still in the process of settling in, and our neighbors have been super friendly. One of our neighbors is an 18-year-old kid who lives with his grandma. He's been especially helpful in showing us around. A few days ago, I received some deliveries, but struggled to carry them upstairs. I asked my boyfriend to help me, and he said he'd do it later. He was gaming, so later meant never. Our neighbor was about to enter his place and spotted me. He immediately jumped in to help and did it all faster and more efficiently. I gave him some snacks and water as a thank you, and we parted ways. Afterward, I was on the phone with my sister in the kitchen, and my boyfriend was also present. I praised our neighbor and told her how sweet and helpful and thoughtful he was. My boyfriend freaked out when he realized that our neighbor helped carry everything upstairs. In fact, he got so upset that he told me to stop telling my sister about the situation. I started laughing because he suddenly seemed concerned and kept asking me for details. I jokingly said that he was busy gaming while the 18-year-old gentleman put his physical strength to actual good use. That did it because he looked at me like I took a dump on the kitchen table. Then he told me that from now on, I should always go to him first before running off. I said that this is entirely up to him. He was clearly in a bad mood for the rest of the evening. He also asked me to stop bad-mouthing him to my sister, although I never did. So am I the idiot for singing our neighbor's praises and embarrassing my boyfriend on the phone? He was too busy gaming. He's just upset and embarrassed that a kid 10 years his junior stepped up in a way he wouldn't. You're not the idiot, but it sucks that you just moved in with the potato, especially now that he's threatened by the younger and more helpful neighbor. He'll be insufferable and sulk whenever he sees the poor kid. Potato is the perfect descriptor. This guy is an absolute loser. This is classic. If you want me to say something nice about you, do something nice. I will never understand people who get upset we don't praise them for doing nothing. If you want to be considered nice, kind, or thoughtful, you have to first be nice, kind, or thoughtful. OP's boyfriend was none of those things, and yet feels entitled to being thought of in that way. BS. Agree. Boyfriend cares very much about how others see him, but not enough to put in the actual work required to earn that opinion. He'd rather ask his girlfriend not to share with family occurrences that don't reflect well upon him. I consider that a red flag. OP should keep an eye out on that type of behavior. My girlfriend and I are getting serious and are about to move in together. I'm bringing her for a visit to where I grew up and to introduce her to my family. My parents have already met her on a video call, but that's it. I have 2 older brothers. I never want to let my oldest brother Dan meet her. Dan is what the internet would call an edgelord, except that he's 30 years old and not a teenager. Dan likes to say hurtful things that he knows will be controversial. He's been like this most of his life and never grew out of it. I don't know why he does it, but he enjoys riling people up. Dan has been fired from jobs over it. He's lost friends. He'll go at people's culture, religion, orientation, etc. Whether or not he actually believes these things, he says them online and in real life. If you tell him to stop, he just keeps going to get you upset. If you ignore him, he keeps going. I only talk to Dan if I'm visiting my dad, who lives with him, and even then, I stick to light topics. My girlfriend's family is not religious, but she's culturally Jewish, and her name reflects that. I don't want Dan anywhere around her. He will pick up that she's Jewish, even if no one tells him. I don't want to subject my girlfriend to that. My dad and stepmother say I can give Dan an ultimatum, that if he says anything, he's out. But ultimatums have never worked for Dan, and I don't even want my girlfriend to hear it in the first place. I would be reluctant to introduce her no matter what, because he would say things about women, but her being Jewish adds an extra layer. I have talked to my girlfriend, and she doesn't want to meet Dan. She and her family have had discrimination, and she doesn't want to deal with Dan trying to rile her up. Am I the idiot here? My dad is pushing back on me, saying Dan will never meet her. So is my other brother, Ray. Our family has known Ray's wife's family since we were kids, so she knew about Dan long before Ray started dating her, and she heard it all from him. He thinks I'm overreacting. Even Dan's angry at me about this. I don't care what Dan thinks, but my dad and Ray are on Dan's side, and they say I can tell him to leave or leave with my girlfriend when he says something, but I don't want her to hear it. She doesn't deserve that. My dad says I'm wrong and I'm being petty and immature. Ray says I'm overreacting and treating my girlfriend like a child. I don't agree. Not the idiot. Of course they're on Dan's side. They've been enabling Dan for 30 years. This is part of why Dan thinks his behavior's okay. Stick to your guns. She doesn't want to meet him either. Could you stay away from them all? You wouldn't tolerate his behavior if she were a friend or acquaintance. Why is the bar lower for the family? Yeah, an unemployed edgelord who can't keep a job because he's so edgy is bound to end up homeless. Yet he's living in a comfortable home and eating nice food. Your father may say he doesn't agree, but does he really? Also, if they say you're treating your girlfriend like a child, say, actually, I'm treating my brother like a child. He's in timeout. Yes, perfect. OP, you're protecting your girlfriend from this hostility. I've had to go no contact with the majority of my family. They're just bad people, and I won't look the other way. I know it's tough, but you deserve to keep your people circle positive. Nobody automatically deserves a seat at the table just because they're related. Exactly. They're just mad because they don't have the balls or the ovaries to draw boundaries with Dan, as you do. Your dad and your brother forced their wives to put up with him because that's just how he is, which their wives just rolled over and accepted. And you're making them look bad by protecting your girlfriend. Dan is not an edgelord. He's an edge wimp. And call your dad out on his burying his head in the sand chicken BS. I, 20 male, finished my second year of college, and I have a sister, teen, who finished 11th grade, and a brother, 26. My brother has a prestigious, high-paying software job and lives a great life. He did well in college and got a bachelor's and master's degree in computer science. And my sister is actively involved in a bunch of clubs at school, got gymnastics and piano awards, does well academically, and is going to work at a restaurant over the summer. But I struggled last year, dropping my GPA from 3.8 to 3.6. My major is architecture, and it's just that the studios are so long and hard, plus I needed help in physics. I didn't get any summer internships, so I'm taking summer classes. This summer, I'll be commuting to school 3 days a week, requiring gas, parking, and insurance, which my parents helped pay for, but it cost a lot of money, so they aren't too happy about it. Also, because of my classes, I won't be able to help around much at home with chores. Other family members will have to do more chores inevitably. Of course, my parents already talk about that themselves, and when I overhear their conversations, they talk about how I'm a burden who does nothing useful. Earlier today, my parents said I should be like my brother, who excelled in college and makes 6 figures. I said that I was trying my hardest, and that some classes, like physics or certain architecture courses, are very difficult. Often, I spent entire days in the studio and thus didn't really have a social life. They pointed out that my sister is very social, still does well academically, and even got a summer job. I felt terrible and told them that internships are hard to come by and that recruiters prefer 3rd years and up over 1st and 2nd years. Then my dad said that my brother got internships starting his 2nd year because he's smarter and more hardworking than me. That made me really mad, so I said that I do work very hard, and intelligence is partially genetic. Both my parents got mad at me and told me to be more like my siblings. I couldn't contain it anymore, so I screamed that I was not the black sheep of the family and that they needed to stop treating me as such. I told them that I didn't appreciate being called a burden and that everyone goes at their own pace. However, my mom said that I asked to be treated like this because I didn't work hard enough in school, which I did, despite being in a brutal major. I stopped talking to my parents after this incident. about 2 hours ago, and I just isolated myself in my room, crying. Not the idiot. Comparison is the thief of joy. My heart broke for OP. Like, holy crap. He has a 3.6 GPA, and his parents aren't happy. He's the black sheep? Jesus, that poor kid. OP, you are smart. You are worthy. You probably have an awesome personality too. And I can see how down to earth you are. Your parents are absolute idiots for not being proud of you. They value their children over superficial and trivial crap. I couldn't give a crap how much money someone makes. Your parents care about crap no one else will ever care about. Hang in there. A few years and you're independent. No parent should ever make their children feel stupid or compared with siblings. Way to put wedges in their relationship and destroy someone's self-esteem. So counterproductive if you want your child to succeed in life. I guess intelligence is not that genetic because your parents don't sound smart at all. Also, someone doing well academically is not necessarily smart. I know enough dumb doctors or engineers to prove this point. I, a female teen, used to babysit my cousins Moses, pre-tween male, and Mateo, kindergarten male, every Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 8. I offered to do this for my Aunt Alex, since I'm home anyway, and it meant that she could work during those hours and have her weekends with Moses and Mateo off. I didn't mind watching Moses and Mateo since they're good kids. Moses usually finishes all of his homework on the bus, and Mateo is, of course, too young for homework, so they just watch TV or play on my Switch the whole time. But then Aunt Alex started either dropping Moses and Mateo off last minute or warning me at the last minute that she needed me to babysit because of an emergency. I found out that many of these were not emergencies at all. For example, she just wanted to go to a social function. The breaking point was when she kept doing this on Fridays and Saturdays. Friday and Saturday are my volunteer days, where I'm a mentor for a local program. My volunteering is important to me, and I clarified this with Aunt Alex. 2 weeks ago, enough was enough, and when Aunt Alex came to pick Moses and Mateo up, I told her that I couldn't keep calling out last minute for my volunteering. It's not fair to the other mentors, who then have to shift plans and roles last minute, or me. I also told her I would not be babysitting Moses and Mateo, not even on Tuesdays and Thursdays anymore. I was doing something kind for her, and she took advantage of me, so now I won't be helping her at all. Aunt Alex began begging me to babysit Moses and Mateo again, because all the reliable nannies she's found online charge at least $20 an hour, and she can't afford that without some major sacrifices. My parents are on my side and told my Aunt Alex that she needs to figure that out independently. I can still talk to Moses and Mateo through their iPad, but when I explained that I wouldn't be able to watch them anymore, Moses responded with, "I know. Mom says it's because you don't like us anymore." So now I feel bad. Am I the idiot? Mom says it's because you don't like us anymore? Oh, heck no. Am I the only one reading this? Or is it just my eyes? Oh, good, it's not just me. First of all, not the idiot. And second of all, talk to your cousins and tell them that you love them dearly. And it was not them. It was their ungrateful, horrible, manipulative, lying, two-faced mother. She is, but I wouldn't say you should say all of that about their mother. Just tell them that it's not true. Imagine lying to her kids and making them feel bad for something that's her fault. So many people don't deserve to be parents. Tell the kids you'll see them less, but you still love and care about them. People shouldn't use their kids as weapons. Ugh. Then again, this woman lied to a teenager so she could have fun, so no surprise. I will never understand these moms with a kind-hearted family member helping with their children, who then blow that up by taking advantage of them. I would be bending over backward for someone who was willing to help with my children 2 afternoons a week so I could work, not foisting my kids on them at every other available opportunity as well. Some people really need to learn which side their bread is buttered on.